All right. Three, two, one. You there, Nate?
I am. I want
You're
to welcome
live.
everybody to My Home Connection. It's your podcast for what's going on in the Treasure River Valley and in and around it. Look at this traffic jam. This is incredibly terrible. This is a part of the Treasure Valley. Um, it's a part of what we've become, and that's why My Home Connection and people like Jerod Lee are bringing great people into the Treasure Valley to teach them how to drive, because that's exactly what we need to learn how to do. There's so many people in this beautiful area that we need to learn to be kind to one another, and that's what My Home Connection is all about. Is about connecting people, connecting community, and there's no better place to do that but on the road.
Thanks, Nate. We appreciate your introduction there. Thanks everybody for your patience. We've obviously got the topic of choice on tap here. Everybody wants to know what the traffic looks like, what the commute looks like here in the Boise, Idaho area, also known as the Treasure Valley. So we'll be chatting with that today. Obviously, we have a couple of guests. We have Nate Wyatt with Idaho Gift Baskets, and we have Keith Kellum staying safe on the road uh, with Antioch Painting.
Look
So,
at him.
but real briefly, before we do that, let me just chat real quick about our sponsor here. We've got the perfect home buying process. So if you're moving into the area or across town, we spent the last couple decades developing a five-step process to help with your move. We've got a podcast series to hopefully answer all or most of the questions you're going to have for a move. We've got some secrets, real estate secrets we want to share with you to eliminate some of the headaches, heartaches you might have, and just a number of reports you can take advantage of, along with a 100-page relocation guide, lifestyle guide that will send you, and ultimately a no obligation consultation. And later on, we'll talk with you about how to take advantage of that process. But other than that, let's get you a formal intro. Nate, how you doing? Oh, we got you. How about you, Keith? Are you there?
I'm here.
I think we lost Nate.
Yep, I'm here. I'm heading north on Eagle Road.
Okay, so you're on the north side of Eagle Road. Uh, are you in
Yes,
Eagle
I
yet?
am.
I can't quite tell.
Nope, I'm just dropping down from Shinden Boulevard. We got Banbury Golf Course over here on the left, and all of this new theater and restaurants over here on the right.
Yeah, so this would be
And
the busiest, one of the busiest streets we have here in Idaho. If you're south of where Keith is at on Fairview and Eagle Road, that's our busiest intersection in the state. So this will give you an idea. We're just shy of 4:30, so everybody's heading home from work, but this is typically what you're going to see. We can chat a little bit about what our traffic's been like in the past. I moved here in '94, so I've seen a lot of changes. I think both Nate and Keith have been here for quite some time as well. Did we get your audio back, Nate?
Can you hear me?
Ah, there you are. Yeah, you've been here for a minute, haven't you, Nate?
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, this is kind of a cool view. I really like seeing Keith's view here. So Eagle Road, I can remember when. Now I was only here a couple of years before you. You got here in '94.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can remember. Yeah, it was just a two-lane road, and then that was really far out there. But I think in terms of the area has wonderful, valuable, great resources all throughout it, but it only has about maybe 8 or 9 major arteries that shuffle a lot of people. I don't know what the total population in the area now is, but so you've got Shinden, Eagle Road, I-84. Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, can you see
So
my
you only
mouse there, by the
have
way, Nate?
these. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but I think that map is perfect because oh yeah, there I can see it.
Okay.
So that area, uh, as we all know, what happens is what's so interesting is you can drive 45 minutes out of Boise up into Bogus Basin and be in a beautiful ski resort. You can drive an hour and a half away and be in the middle of nowhere, see no one, and go into the wilderness and to the true high desert or high um, foothills and into the mountains. Then in this great little valley, there's so much magnificent growth, and much of the growth, don't you think, has been single family homes. Now we're seeing some people kind of coming into some renters coming into the apartments, but it's still a great, incredibly magnificent place to start a family, raise a family, retire. It seems like.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new tech companies coming in too that are bringing more working class people in, not just Micron and HP. But so you can see those main arteries. That's all you have, and then there's lots and lots and lots of little side streets. So it seems very congested at times.
Yeah, and this is actually a real
It is very
time
congested.
colors here. So when we see these reds and these oranges, that's real time traffic. So it'll give you an idea kind of what to expect around the valley here. But really, what we're looking at, where my mouse is, this kind of splits Ada County on the right or the east with Canyon County on the left. And the most traffic will typically end up on 84 here for people commuting out of the Boise area. Um, we've obviously built up the Boise, kind of Meridian, Cuna, Eagle area. And over time, for affordability purposes and just different kind of lifestyle, we've had a lot of people moving out into the Canyon County area. So 84 is by far, kind of our most traveled road. And then we have another, 26, Chinden, going east to west will get you down into the center of Boise as well. And then really we just have a couple of roads kind of going north and south, Eagle Road being the one kind of up here where I just showed you Keith, where Keith is at right now. And then as Nate was talking, you head up north, you head up 55 here, and I'll take you, up into the wilderness. But we've got 16 being punched through here as well to kind of free up, some of this traffic, which would otherwise have to cut through these arteries. But that's what
That's
you were
going to be
talking about,
really
Nate, is
nice.
how do you traverse if you want to jump off these main thoroughfares?
Yeah, I mean, we really only have, and here's the other thing: as you move in or look into the Boise and Treasure Valley area, it's there's really you'll see some guy trying to go as fast as he can, and you'll wave at him because you'll see him at the next stoplight. It's just nowhere that you can actually get ahead. You're gonna end up at the next light together, with the exception of I-84. But even with its congestion during the main, drive times. But I'm really excited for 16 to be punched through because that's just on the table now, and that's about to be wrapped up and done. I just saw the road go in, and that looks really good. Like that, I think that should be done here by this next year, by January 2024. And then there's 2026, which is also known as Chinden Boulevard. That particular road is increasing incredibly. It was a two-lane road, farmer road, and a lot of farms in that area that are sugar beets. That that we have Amalgamated Sugar, which is a big producer in the area, and they have are really. I mean, there's just a lot of trucks in that area during this kind of fall season. But then I really love the idea that 2026 is going to be. I think they end up planning on having it like 4 to 6 lanes. It's going
It's
to be magnificent.
it's going to have to be, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but so you're seeing
but
again
yeah,
real
there's
time.
there's a
You're
there's a
seeing.
lot of
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of wonderful open spaces, but there's only a few trails everybody gets on sooner or later to get home. That's just all there is to it. There's only
Yeah.
a few.
Yeah, some of the things you'll see people do is like if they're on Eagle Road and it's backed up, depending on where you're trying to go, maybe you're heading over this direction instead of going straight up Eagle Road, you'll get on these little ancillary roads and try to minimize your commute. I always use GPS just because I'm in real estate to help me guide through construction and traffic jams, try to give me the quickest way home. But that's how often a lot of people will navigate through that. For example, if you're over here in Cuna, you might take some of these back roads over to Boise. A lot of employers in downtown Boise. There's, we have a lot of the workforce out here by the airport and in downtown Boise. Keith, you're always
Yeah,
on the
and it
road.
seems like, I mean, I think Keith. Yeah, I would say Keith can attest to it because I mean, with what he does, he's out always looking around, working with all the different areas around town. There's certain times that you just can't. If you're out between 7 and 9 a.m. and 3 and 5:30 or 6 p.m., you're going to get caught probably.
What's been your experience,
Undoubtedly.
Keith?
But those are only on those are the high traffic trails that you're talking about. You know, coming into Boise from out west in the morning, going out west from Boise in the afternoon, evening, and then Eagle Road is kind of always busy, but it's busier at this time of night. And I think those are probably the east west traverse that causes the most discomfort.
Yeah.
Um, there's also, it's pretty. It's so um, it's on a schedule though. I mean, when people are going to work and when
Mhm.
people are coming home. So just driving around during the day, I rarely, unless there's an accident or road closures because they're fixing every other road, uh, then I rarely have problems getting all over the Treasure Valley. Um, quite honestly,
Yeah, that's
here
Well,
I'm
right.
let's
coming
talk.
right into to
Yeah,
downtown Eagle.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about
yeah.
what's transpired over time and kind of what we think will happen going forward. So again, being here in '94, I could pretty consistently feel good about telling everybody I'll be there in 15 minutes. Kind of no matter where I needed to go, I was there in 15. Fast forward, a couple decades later, and I can pretty consistently say I'll be there in 30 minutes, maybe 45, and it's getting pushed off a little bit. But you could pretty much get all the way across the valley, in that amount of time. The Oregon border's over here, so and then there's just not much out east, so you probably wouldn't be typically heading in that direction. But it. My point is, yes, it's getting a little worse. We are working, to play catch up with the influx of people we've had in the area. But I've also lived in, Phoenix and Seattle and Portland, and our commutes. I've actually told myself when I first moved out here that I wouldn't complain about the commute, having lived in those areas. So I try really hard not to complain. Every once in a while, catch myself, but my point is, it's relative, right, to what you're used to. Some will argue that it's horrible if you've lived here all your whole life and you're a native. Others will say, hey, this is great. This is nothing like what I experienced in California or, in Oregon or what have you.
Well,
So
and
that's my thoughts on it.
the other
What
thing,
about yours, Nate?
I think, okay, first of all, I think Keith said it perfectly that there's a schedule. There's a schedule. You could be out if you're out before 7 or 8 a.m., you have the whole city to yourself. There's no one out there. And then
Yeah,
if you go out even on after 7 or 8 o'clock at night, there's no one out there. You're not going to get into trouble at all. Unless you're a bunch of the kids kind of going downtown to the bars downtown. But even there, it's bad, but there's a schedule to it. Like Keith said, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. But the other thing I really love about this area is 9 times out of 10, the people, although traffic sometimes you go and someone's honked at you, and stop getting off, get off the phone and the light's green, let's all go or whatever. People are pretty cool, man. People are pretty cool. And there are some times that you've seen more aggressive driving than I have before, but I think that's probably nationwide. But for the most part, I love it when you see people let other people out. You see people being courteous when there's intersections that are impossible to get out of, and they let other people in and out. I think it's the people here again that makes this area so magnificent, regardless of some
Absolutely.
of the
I
congestion.
mean,
Like, yeah, it's the people.
I moved here about 20 years ago, and I remember one of the first things that blew me away was people being so nice in traffic, and then the biggest thing was uh, just random people, most people stopping and holding a door for you as you go into the convenience store, which is like
Yeah,
something that you don't do in. I mean, some people do in California, but I mean, generally speaking, you ain't nothing but in somebody's way. And up here, people take the time to stop and help, which is just very pleasant.
yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Well, let's talk about some of the areas that most people would commute to. Nate already mentioned the Boise downtown area. Certainly, there's a lot of nightlife, high rises. A lot of reasons to go downtown. The green belt is down there. Boise State University, the state capital. So and plus there's a lot of mountain bike riding trail downtown. So you're going to get a lot of congestion potentially down there. Again, depending on timing that you go down there. In kind of more Center
But I would
Valley
say
here,
too, Jared, just
yeah,
I would say too, just with that downtown area, what I love about downtown, there are 1,000 ways to get to Boise State Albertson Stadium, the Morrison Knutson Center, the park, the Ann Morrison and MK Park. If you want to go down and see a concert, there's tons of ways to get down there. You don't have to just take the connector and Broadway or whatever down. You can actually get downtown taking Overland to Rose Hill and down. I mean, there's tons of great ways. There ultimately becomes, and I think that's what's so beautiful about Boise. There's lots of wonderful. It's almost just like a huge, magnificent neighborhood with a highway going through it. I mean, there's a lot of. I love going downtown. I think downtown Boise's safe.
beautiful,
It's fun. It's a great place for a lot of people to work. It's a
great
great place
food.
to play. It's fun. I love it down there.
Yeah,
And the congestion is really not all that bad always.
yeah,
Nothing like the big cities. It's nothing like Denver or Portland or nothing.
yeah. Put some
And
thought into it and schedule it, and you'll be fine.
yeah. Hmm.
And then the Boise Airport, kind of South Boise here. This is actually still really easy to get in and out of. Certainly relative to any other airports I've seen in other bigger cities. You can pretty easily show up an hour before, jump right off of I-84 and park your car or be dropped off and get to your gate pretty quickly. The airport's growing. Certainly there's more traffic than there was when I first got here, but it's still a pretty accessible airport.
Yeah, I have a story. My brother, he moved here from Denver during the height of the pandemic. But prior to that, I remember in 2019, he came in and he was at our house, and he was kind of going through the normal stuff, preparing to get ready for the airport. They were leaving, and all that. And he was wanting to leave like 3 and 4 hours before his flight. I said, "What? Why? Why would you do that?" He just insisted upon it. He insisted, "I have to. I got to return the car. I got to get to my gate. I got kids and luggage." And I said, "Okay, no problem." I said, "You're gonna be sitting there for like
Bring a book.
3 hours. If you get you're sitting there, man. And he's like, nope, gonna do it. I said, okay, go for it. And we still live in Meridian, but we had a different place, but we lived in Meridian at the time. And, it takes 20 minutes to get to the airport from Meridian most of the time. And he got in there, and next thing you know, I remember him calling, going, we've got like 2.5 hours to kill, and there's nothing to do in the airport here. I said, nope. You're gonna have to get out the iPads or something for the kids because there's nothing to do there.
Yeah, yeah. And then
It
you
is
go to
nice.
another place where
It's nice.
you're used to our airport, and then you go to a bigger city, and then you forget you got to be there so much, so soon before your flight.
Oh yeah.
Messes you up.
Hmm.
But the other areas that you might commute to a lot is Center Valley here, the village at Meridian, just off of Eagle Road. That's a super popular place to go to. There's food, certainly restaurants, entertainment, theater. In the winter, they'll have an ice rink there. In the have concerts. So all kinds of stuff. But that's pretty accessible because it is right off the freeway.
Keith, where are you going, man? That looks nice. You're going to Jared's house?
I figured I would just pop into the Bardenay Park here.
Out of the topic for today, feel free to reach out to us anytime, and we'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have. As far as the perfect home buying process, you can just reference the perfect home buying process via text, email, phone call, and we'll certainly get you started. And look forward to helping you out. Otherwise, hope you have a blessed one.